Ever feel like some things in life you think you got them figured out, like all
Yeah.
neat and tidy in your brain?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Well, that was me with private property, right? Like I earn it, I buy it, it's mine. Boom, case closed.
Except it.
But then I got my hands on this article, How Bitcoin Protects Private Property Rights by Sibi Surian, and let me tell you, whoa, like my brain did a whole 180. It's
Yeah.
not just about owning stuff anymore. It's about the whole system behind it all,
Yeah.
and how easy it can be to like mess with that system.
Yeah. No, you're hitting on something really important there.
Hmm.
Surian, he really nails it when he talks about private property rights being like the foundation, right?
Yeah.
The bedrock of a thriving economy.
Right.
It's that basic understanding that you own what you work for, what you create, what
Right.
you earn,
Hmm.
right? And that's what gets people going. Incentivizes work and investment, all the innovation that comes with that. But here's the catch. These rights, they don't just exist on their own. They need a system to back them up,
Right.
to enforce them.
Yeah.
And most of the time, that system
Hmm.
is the government.
And that's kind of where things get a little dicey, right? Because I mean, you see what's happening. The article it had mentioned some pretty intense examples. You've got China with their control over Alipay and WeChat,
Right.
Russia freezing bank accounts, Nigeria doing the same thing during those protests.
Yeah.
It's a kind of scary thought when you think about, someone else calling the shots on your money.
And here's the thing. It's not just countries with super strict governments.
Yeah.
Even in places where things are, more open, there are still risks. Remember we talked about digital assets, stuff you keep online.
Yeah.
And how vulnerable that stuff is to hacking and all that.
Right.
Well, this is all connected. Our traditional money systems, they're centralized, right? Which means they've got that same weakness, that same vulnerability. Inflation can just eat away at your savings. Governments, they can change the rules whenever they feel like it. And then you've got the whole cyber attack thing looming over everything.
Right, right. So, okay, traditional systems, they've got their problems. So
Yeah.
that's where Bitcoin comes in. And what makes it so different is how it's decentralized, right? So
Right.
we're not just talking about governments anymore. It's about getting rid of that single point where everything can go wrong.
You got it. That's exactly what the article argues. Bitcoin, the way it's designed with that whole blockchain thing everyone's always talking about,
Right.
it makes it incredibly hard for any one group or person to just take your Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Think of it like this, like a puzzle, but the pieces are spread out on computers all over the world.
Right. Right.
To take control, you'd have to control most of them, like more than half.
Right. Like that 51% attack you hear about, but that's basically impossible, right?
Basically, yeah. I mean, pulling that off, getting that much power,
Yeah.
or the Bitcoin network, it would take an insane amount of computing power, like more than anyone has.
Right.
It's not even just impractical. It's basically impossible, thankfully.
Right.
And that's what makes Bitcoin so good at resisting censorship and people trying to seize it.
Yeah.
You're not relying on some bank or government to keep your Bitcoin safe. You're relying on math, on cryptography.
Right. So bringing it back to property rights, what I'm hearing is that for people living under, oppressive governments or really anyone who values that financial freedom, Bitcoin gives them a way to protect what's theirs. It's like owning something that no one else can touch.
That's exactly it. It's about you being in control, having the power over your own money.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this whole idea of self-custody, that's a key part of it all. With Bitcoin, you hold your own keys, literally, which means you have direct control over your assets. It's like true financial freedom.
Wow. That's really something. So before we wrap up this deep dive, here's something I want you to think about, take with you. If Bitcoin really is this new way of thinking about property in the digital age, what else can it do?
Right.
What happens when more people, like a lot of people, have this much control over their own money? I mean, that could change everything, right?
Yeah, it really could. It's a whole new world of possibility.
It really is. It really is.